channel. Grid, in this case, it's a visual guide to coordinate graphing. So what coordinate graphing is, it is the exact method to show the exact position of places, objects, or numbers on a flat surface. So you can imagine a chessboard or like some other map that has numbers on it. And you can think of this, so this is used to find locations, compare values, draw figures, and understanding data, and many more. So these are not just lines on paper, but these are like the hidden engine behind the technology that we use. So these are like some real world applications that have been used, such as navigations, where GPS systems use your coordinates to pinpoint your exact location. They're also used in entertainment games because video games use X and Y coordinates to track your movement. And even in designing too, which is actually pretty obvious because engineers and architects use grids to design safe buildings and bridges. So the anatomy of the plane is that this is the x-axis, which is the horizontal line, in this case the blue one, and it measures the left and right distance. So this is the positive side here, and this is the negative side. This is the y-axis, which is the vertical line, or in this case the red line. So this measures the up and down height. This is the positive side, and this is the negative side. Then finally, we have the origin here, which is this black dot in the center. This is the starting point, or is known as the zero position, where all the measurement starts here. And in this case, its coordinate would be 0, 0 in parentheses, because both of its x and y values is 0. In coordinate planes, there's also something called the four quadrants. The axis, which is in this case both the x and y axis, it divides the plane into four regions. It divides it into quadrant 1, quadrant 2, quadrant 3, and quadrant 4. You start from here, which is quadrant 1, and then you go anti-clockwise here. So in this case, we're just going counterclockwise. And these will be typically listed as Roman numerals. So this one is 1, this is 2, this is 3, and then this is 4. So this is a signpost for each of the quadrants. The first quadrant, which is quadrant 1, is both positive. So both of its x and y values will be positive. Its direction will be right and up. The quadrant region for number 2, its sign pair will be negative and positive, so it will be left and up, since one of its x values will be negative and the y values would be positive. The third quadrant region is 3, and its sign pair would be both negative, which is left and down. So both of its x and y values are negative. Finally, we have the fourth region, which is quadrant 4. Its sign pair would be positive and negative. So in this case, it would be the x value is positive and the y value is. So the language of the location is called the ordered pair. X is considered to be the horizontal movement, or in this case, the horizontal line that we saw in the graph. And y is the vertical. So what the golden rule is, it's first the side and then the height. And in this case, the order matters as well. So for example, 2 to 5 is not the same as 5, 2. Because x and y have different values. So x is the horizontal movement and y. So how to plot a point is you start with the origin, which is 0, 0, as we saw. Then step 2 is to find x. So you either move left or right along the horizontal axis, which was the blue line. Then the third step is to find y, which was the vertical line. So you either move up or down. Then when you finally find the spot, you place the dot there, and that's your coordinate plane. So one example here is plotting -4 and 3. So first, we're going to start with the x value, which is -4. And we're going to first go here all the way to -4. And then we're going to go up 3. And this is where we'll place our dot. And in this case, the point lands in quadrant 2, which is -x and +y, because -4 is negative and 3 is positive. So when we're reading the map, we're basically finding the coordinates. So we start from the origin here. We go to x, and we see that the x value is 6. Then we go up, and we stop at the black dot, which is where y equals 2. So the final coordinate would be 6 and 2. So there's also connecting the dots where you're drawing the shapes. So for example, if we have point A, which is 1, 2, this was point A here. We have point B, which is 4, 2, and we have point C, which is 3, 5. we can connect these 3 points and then we'll get a triangle. So there's also line graphs, and it shows how things change over time. For example, if we have the time, which is x, and the distance, which is y, and we have these points here that we can graph. So for example, in this case, the first step is 1, 5, where x is 1 and y is 5. Then we'll first graph that here. The second one is 2 and 10. So we'll find 2 and go to 10. And then there's also 3 and 15. We'll go to 3, 15 here. Do you also notice something common? These are all multiples of 5. So I can just graph them diagonally from one another and just graph the line here, which makes it even more easier. So these are some common mistakes here to avoid. And the first one is mixing x and y. And you always have to remember that order matters because as we saw, 2 to 5 is not the same as 5 to 2. And you always have to remember that x will always be first since it's the horizontal movement. Number 2 is forgetting the signs. So you want to watch out for negative numbers in quadrants 2, 3, and 4 because they all have different signs. Number 3 is where you start wrong, is because some people don't start from the origin and they usually mark the point wrong. And it's easier to start from the origin because now for counting errors, you must count the grid lines carefully. So this is the cheat sheet here. As we saw, these are the 4 quadrants and these are their signs. The golden rule, which is first side, then height, which is just in this case x and y. The quick steps to finding the coordinate point is here, which is origin, then x, then y, and then you mark the dot. And then there's a memory tip here, which is ASTC, all students take coffee, and it means anti-clockwise from top right. These are also some practice problems you can do here, and I want to see if you can plot these 4. So for example, I could do one with you guys. This is 2, 7, and which is in which quadrant. Again, we can start from here, the origin. We can go by 2 to the right, and then we go 7 up. And then we'll mark our point here, or here. And then we see that this lands in quadrant 1. So this, so 2, 7 is in quadrant 1. And that's it for today. Bye, and make sure to like, subscribe, and share. Bye!